Good morning. Dallas Morning News. Can you start with, do you recall a game offhand that you opened with two miscues and special teams like that? And can you just break down what happened on those two plays yesterday?
I hadn't thought of it like that. Probably can't recall a game where right off the bat, got a couple of miscues. The first one, Brian just dropped. And then the second one with Terp, I think it just caught him a little bit high, maybe right under the face mask, maybe shoulder pad area. And he just dropped it. So the human element was really yesterday. Wind wasn't a big factor, so it's just two misses. I can't explain it probably any more than that. Just the punt snap kind of caught him in between the underhand, overhand, and he kind of just jammed it and hit off his hand. And if there's any plus to that, I said Brian did a good job of not making a bad play worse by trying to kick it or not fumble it again. So, yeah, not a good start.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. I think it was the most punts he's had all season. So that second punt looked like he really was booming it because he was. I'm assuming he was mad about dropping the first punt. How do you think, outside of that, the drop punt, how do you think his day went?
I thought he recovered well, which was good. I mean, we didn't have any other issues handling the football. I think, just in my experience as a coach as well, you try to make up for a mistake, and then that sometimes compounds it. So I felt like Brian didn't try to make up for it, and I try to remind the guys all the time, if Terp, don't try to make up for the muff punt by making another bad decision, thinking you have to do something different. And kind of talked to Brian about the same thing. You don't got to make up for this. Just play your game. But there's probably a little bit of a human element again where he's like, got to get an extra couple yards on this one to make up for it. I can say it, but then instincts take over too. So he recovered, and I thought he had a good day. There's a few. I mean, we had 11 punts, but the one didn't count, so 10 actual punts. And I think 7 of them were good. I think probably 3 of them he wishes he had back. And we watched the tape this morning, and just little technical things we got to keep tightening up, which is good for us going into the next round.
Michael Galpin, Dallas Morning News. After that initial punt attempt, he switched to a glove on his left hand. Is that because of temperature, or what led to that equipment switch? And is that something that maybe in pregame, ideally, you want to clearly get a feel for whether or not he needs that sort of a thing?
Yeah, he's practiced with that before, and in pregame has done it before. And I think it was a temperature thing. There's a little bit of a breeze thing, and it might have been just the first one kind of got in his head. And let me see if I can help fix this a little bit. So it was a strange game from that because the wind wasn't a big factor, but there was a little bit element to it. It was cool enough to keep the balls cool, and it was for them too. I mean, we muffed the punt, they muffed the punt, and it was just a weird game. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just a weird game.
Babe Loff for Cowboys Radio. So, John, the missed kick by Maher, by Brett.
Yep.
Snap was a little low, and Brian had to. Does he see that out of the corner of his eye a little bit? Did that hurt the rhythm of the kick?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just the low ball. He saw it the whole time, but the kicker's got to know if he can stay in his tempo or if he's got to dial it back just that millisecond to get the ball up. And I think that threw the timing off a little bit for sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean he'll make that kick, but the low snap threw it off just enough for us, like that much.
Skyler Dixon with JP. Is there any concern about an erosion in trust from your end on Terp with the mistakes of the latter part of the season, or do you just have to? You're committed to him, he's the guy, and you stick with it?
Yeah, I don't feel any erosion of trust at all. It sure isn't coming from me. And I don't sense at all that there's an erosion of that from the blockers, because they know that, football happens and it's not that easy, and the other team's usually pretty good too. And I think the players really get that, like, hey, I make mistakes too, and hey, I make bad calls too. You got a hard job and you drop the punt. That's you can't do it. But I don't think anybody ever thinks that they're almighty and not above making a mistake. And
You pay any special attention to him based on recent weeks? I mean, it's easy to forget he's a rookie because he's a little bit older. But
yeah.
I mean, this is his first run through the NFL.
Sure.
You spend a little more time with him to make sure he's okay, or how do you handle that?
Yeah. I don't try to haven't thought about what's the right word I'm thinking of? Make it more of a big deal than it is, where now it really gets in his head because, you okay? How you doing? Because the sense I get from him when he walks into the building is that, he's ready to go. Last week he missed a day because he was sick, but that didn't have anything to do with it. But I try to be careful about, maybe asking him too many times and too much, how you doing, man? You all right? Because maybe that gets in their head like, gosh, is something wrong that I don't know about? But it's a great thought, and I think I've always said probably the biggest job I have is relationship building, where you can have tough conversations with guys, but also trust them enough to know that they might come to you if they need something. I don't know. It's been so much time with these guys since July that I think we have a good rapport and we can critique each other and lift each other up. Just spent a lot of time with these guys, man. A lot of time. So I don't know where I went with that answer, but I'm kind of thinking in my head of, the meeting rooms and the practice fields and how much work we spent just banging and grinding together. If you guys could hang around for our Thursday practices, our guys work, man. They work. And I'm always conscious of physical and mental burnout because of the competition on Thursday. And we're not there yet. That's not a problem. But, long story short, I'm excited about Monday night.
There's a noticeable abundance of accountability from all the people that we're talking about in the locker room yesterday. When Turpin was at his locker, repeatedly, asking questions, multiple rounds of reporters. Same thing for Anger. Mater wanted to talk. Overton overhears reporters, and he's volunteering blame when Anger's being asked questions about the plan. Is that something that's ingrained, or is that just organic in terms of guys having that, or do you feel like that's developed over time?
I think it's both. I think it's organically developed probably over time. And that's probably what I was trying to allude to with the question is you spend so much time together that, you believe in your teammates and your coaches believe in the players and players hopefully believe in the coaches that, there's bad things are going to happen and I got your back, man, and I'll take the heat on this one. Overton says, he probably said, I snapped it too low. Brett said I should have made the kick. Terp said I should have caught the ball. And Brian said I got to catch the snap. And I said I should have gone kick left when I went kick right. It's, that's the way it is. And that's, I think, how a great team should be. And that's developed over a lot of meeting time with these guys and Thursday practices. And we put in a lot of work. And our payday is going to come. I know I've been saying it for a long time, but maybe perfectly we're holding out because in preseason we returned 2 for a touchdown and it kind of bit us in the regular season. So maybe we just took our foot off the gas a little on purpose and see what happens. No, that's not true. That's not true. We never do that.
Terp's been your returner of kickoff and punt for the whole season. Can you recall how many times that has happened to you in your career that you've had one guy and have to worry about that spot?
Yeah, let's see. The last time I had a guy do both was Farrell Cooper in 2017. He made the Pro Bowl doing both punts and kickoffs. And he was also our personal protector on punt. And Farrell's still playing, so he's a great returner. Yeah,
what does that say about him and even Turp that I don't have to worry about this position per se because he's doing what I need him to do?
Yeah, I think it's pretty rare for a guy to do both. I can't count real quick how many guys do both, but there's probably not many. You could probably help me out with that one, because usually a punt returner might not have the courage to be a kick returner, and the kick returner might not have the ball skills or the quickness to be a punt returner because they're two totally separate skills. Kickoff returner is strong, tackle breaker, courage, and punt returner is ball skills and elusiveness and speed, So they require different things. So to have one guy that can do it it's hard, man. It's hard. I'm very proud of Turp. Damn, I'm proud of Turp. He has a tough job to do, and he made a mistake. And usually when guys do that, the best competitors will bounce back. So we'll see what happens.
John Fassel, Yahoo Sports. Naheem Hines returned 2 kick return touchdowns yesterday for 96 yards and 101 yards for the Bills. Yep. Did you watch that? Is that something you show your team? And I guess what stands out or goes through your mind when you see something like that?
Yeah, great question. it was awesome for him. And from a fan perspective, you know, of course they returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown for DeMar. So really cool. But yeah, we do watch that. We watch all the around the league, you know, big plays, block kicks, just to see what happened on the good side of it and what happened on the opposite side of it, where the misses were. From a personal standpoint, the second one, you know, Tywan Jones led Nyheim Hines into the end zone, and I coached Tywan his rookie year in Oakland. So to see that man in his, I think it's his 12th year, still leading the kick returner into the end zone like he did when we had Jacoby Ford when I was in Oakland a couple of times, and that's what Tywan did. So it's not only, you know, the Buffalo Bills and a kickoff return for touchdown, it's some of the players that are still in these places that I know, then I'll send them a text like, man, that's pretty cool. Congratulations. How are you still fast? You know, 12 years later. But great job by Buffalo, man. It's pretty awesome by then.
This week, Mike McCarthy talked about the challenge of having to identify the 48-man roster for Monday night. Obviously, special teams will play a role. What's this process going to be like? I don't know if you guys are meeting today to that effect, of just piecing together what special teams looks like as part of the larger equation. Yeah,
we had a conversation already probably about 2 hours ago just to kind of give us a rough draft of what it might look like. And it's always tough to piece together the 48. It seems like it might be like a lot of bodies, but it seems like it's actually never enough when you get down to it. So there will be some guys, like always, on special teams that will probably have to play a few positions that they've either never played or have rarely played that I got to get them up to school on in a couple days. And then the core guys got the core spots, but to fill out 11 positions, there's always a couple guys that are going to be new or very unseasoned in those positions, and those are the guys I got to spend the most time with getting ready for the big game. So it'll be interesting what the 48 will hold this week, because it might not be exactly as it's been.
Is this the longest you've gone in your career, or I don't know, for how long, in not executing a fake?
Yeah, not calling one. Probably. I can't remember the last time. Well, last year we didn't call a fake until the playoff game. So probably the longest, yeah. And it has a lot to do with the offense moving chains and having really good defense and maybe not needing to, but we're prepared if we have to. But I don't feel like we've actually needed to. I feel like, you know, our guys have played really sound football, you know, until a couple of Butterfinger miscues this past game. But I'm proud of the way our guys have competed for sure.
Not having to use anything that's in the bag of tricks, does that make whatever is in that bag very well refined because of the time on task?
Yep, excellent, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we don't really ever put in a game plan specific fake. This is maybe a concept we really like, and we'll carry it and we'll practice it and practice it and practice it. And if we play a team or a situation where we feel like it might work, then it's on deck. But probably like everybody else, you practice them every week for the time that you either need it or want it, or out of desperation, got to have it. Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, everybody.